So right now I am in Mohican State Park by the fire tower, and I am going to do a loop. I think the best I could tell, I'm going to take the mountain bike trail down to the covered bridge, and then from the covered bridge, I think it's maybe called Hog Hollow Gorge Trail or something like that, back. There's a bunch of trails that kind of intermingle in there, and I think it's those two trails that I'll use to make the loop. I have been trying to figure out exactly how far it is. I think it might be around 4 to 5 miles. I'm hoping for at least 4 miles. It might be closer to 5, which I would like that as well. And I haven't done this loop before. I always wear my pack, always make sure that I have other things in here, like anything like a med kit, you know. I mean, if you would like fall, break your leg, or get a cut, anything like that, make sure I have just basic stuff like that in there. I could spend the night out here if I wanted to with what I have in here. Obviously it's Ohio, so I don't necessarily think you'd get stranded out here. However, there are areas without cell phone service, and it is a big state park. So got here just a little after 6, waited for the sun to come up on top of the fire tower. I climbed the top of that and watched the sun come up, and now I am going to go do my hike. Yeah, I will probably make a little follow-up video when I get back here to the truck, but we'll see how it goes. So off we pop. Right now I'm on the bike trail, and so it's really cool. The trail loops on around, but then they also made this little, I don't know what you would want to call it, obstacle, challenge. You know, the crazy thing is that video cameras just do not do this justice. Like when you look at the slope of everything, seeing things like that light fog out there, and then hearing all the birds and animals and the creaking of the trees. Like, my God, it's twice as beautiful as any camera can make it, you know? It's just so gorgeous. And I always like to take a couple of mood enhancing edibles, I guess, in various different forms depending on what I feel like that day. And that obviously can help things out a little bit too, but man, I tell you what, I think that a lot of people would get some really good therapy out of coming out here and just taking a walk every now and then. It's beautiful. So my phone, I feel like, does not do a good job at all with the lighting in here right now, but guys, this is amazing. Like, you don't see a lot of this in the Northeast anymore. I mean, these trees are massive, massive trees. Like, there's no way that I could get my arms even close to around that thing. I could get it like halfway around that tree. And look at how open the woods are here, you know, with a very thick top canopy. The phone even makes it look like there's more light coming in than what there is. But you just don't get views like this in the Northeast very much because everything has been logged so often. But here, like, this is actually like old growth trees, and you can see back in the woods and see all the ravines and ridges. Yeah, this video might be longer than I was intending it to be because I just stop and I just look at stuff. Like, there's just scenery everywhere, and it's just the woods, you know. It's just the woods. This is just what it is out there if you just go out there into it, you know. And yeah, the Mohican is especially gorgeous, but my God, I just keep finding all this pretty stuff out here. So I went about 4 miles now, and I will continue my trek through the woods over on that side. This brings you out down by the covered bridge, and I love this bridge. Show you some more pictures of the creek when I get down there. And yeah, that's one of the trailheads that goes off to Little Lions Falls and Big Lions Falls, and you end up over by the dam. Oh wow, the river is really high right now. This is way higher than it normally is. Obviously it gets this high with rains and stuff like that, and we have had rain, but I would say, gosh, this has to be at least 2 feet deeper than it normally is, maybe 3. I don't think you'd want to be out there in it right now. Normally it's clear, you can see the rock bottom, and you can see stone formations down there where people kind of put up stones. I actually took pictures of it a while back, but like right down here in this area is a really popular place to swim, right out there. And I think that's what those rapids are from, are actually from rocks that people have put there that normally channel the water. And it's kind of a fun little place to slide down the river for kids and stuff, or you can sit in it and just enjoy it. But yeah, the river is really high today. And anyways, I am going to continue my walk. Excuse me puffing a little bit. Just came up a decent-ish hill coming up from the bridge to the fire tower. Is pretty much completely all uphill. Here we are. There's the fire tower, and here is my truck, and I have a little bit of a surprise here to talk about this hike. Get to it in a minute. So wow, that that ended up being something else. I left here a little bit before 7 this morning, probably 7:15, and I left out this way, and I was thinking that I was probably going to walk around 4 miles and hoping that I could maybe get 5, Well, it turned out to be more like 7 miles. My GPS tracker that I was using with that has the map of the trails and everything on it, it says like 7.1 or 7.2, but there was a couple of zigzags on my trail where, because of bad service down in the gorge there, where it was kind of zigzagging around trying to find itself, and it might have added an extra tenth that I didn't actually walk, so I'm just calling it an even 7. So yeah, it was a lot more than what I was thinking it was going to be, but I'm happy with it. I'm so glad that I got to do that. That was a beautiful walk. I want to come back this fall and do it again, because I think this fall it would be gorgeous. I actually tend to like taking walks in the fall and even in the winter time better, just because I don't know, I've just always been that type of a guy. I like the cooler weather. Maybe a little bit crazy, but yeah. So about a 7-mile loop, that was a little bit more than what I thought it was going to be, but you know, that is also kind of the point, is it makes you feel good, you know, it really does. When I got, you know, not even down to the bridge, which is well over halfway, I was like, man, yeah, this is a lot further than what I thought it was. But you know what? It was no big deal. I mean, that's another reason why I bring the pack. It makes the walk just a little bit harder. And you get more, yeah, you just get more exercise. And you also obviously have things in there in case of, you know, any emergency or whatever. I mean, I always bring at least a 2-quart canteen, even if I know that I'm only going to be out for a couple hours, because like I said, if you're way back in there, and some of those trails people don't necessarily walk every day, and if you broke your leg or whatever, and or anything, you have no idea what could happen back in there, and you have to try to make your way out, you know, the next day. You know, you just end up being in there a lot longer than you thought. That at least you have plenty of water, have a couple protein bars, and worst case scenario, which would almost never happen, but I mean, you never know. I have fire starting equipment. I have a hammock I can string between 2 trees. I have a very lightweight sleeping bag I keep in there, and I even have a change of clothes. I have a life straw that I can filter more water in any of the streams out there if I need to. It's good stuff to have in there in your pack, and like I said, it gives you a little bit of an extra workout. So yeah, that ended up being a really, really nice hike. I'm so glad that I did it. It ended up being quite a bit longer than I had planned on. I don't 100% know where the estimation went wrong, but I mean, that is another thing to keep in mind. You know, if you do go out and you decide you do want to hike more, you know, and you think that you're going to go out there on a 4-mile hike, you know, I mean, always plan to give yourself an extra mile. In this case, it ended up being an extra 2 minimum, you know, because I was thinking, yeah, probably around 4.5, and maybe I'll be able to get 5 out of it. And it ended up being 7. So, yeah, good hike. Really enjoyed it. I got a lot of good pictures and videos out of it. And now I actually still have plenty of the day left. I don't know exactly what time it is, but it's before 10 o'clock. I did that in, I think it was maybe a little under 3 hours, roughly 3 hours, something like that. I'll have to look at the exact time, and I did a track, probably share the track on there. I might be off on that. Maybe it was over 3 and I'm just not aware of it, but either way, I'll put that on there. You guys can see the actual distance, the elevation gain, elevation loss. And yeah, it's a really good hike. Sure, there's a couple inclines out there that want you to know they're there, and but that's good. That's the whole point. So anyways, I have the whole rest of my day yet. I still am going to go to work, stop in and see a couple customers today. Have a good one.